Have you ever wondered what it felt like to stand alone against a formidable enemy? That's the situation Britain faced during the Battle of Britain in World War II. In the summer of 1940, World War II had taken a dire turn. The German war machine, having swept across Europe with a mix of speed and power that the world had never seen before, now had its sights set on Britain. The objective was clear: to gain air superiority over the English Channel and pave the way for an invasion. This was to be achieved by the German Luftwaffe, a force that, at the time, was considered the most formidable air armada on the planet. But standing in their way was the Royal Air Force, or the RAF. Smaller in number, with fewer resources and less experienced pilots, the RAF was nevertheless the last line of defense protecting Britain from invasion. Their role was to keep the Luftwaffe at bay, to prevent them from gaining the air superiority they needed to launch their ground invasion, codenamed Operation Sea Lion. The Battle of Britain was not just a battle for control of the skies, it was a battle for survival. The stakes could not have been higher. If Britain fell, the Axis powers would have controlled the entire Western Europe, leaving only the Soviet Union to resist. The free world hung in the balance, with Britain standing alone against the might of the German Luftwaffe. The RAF had a daunting task ahead. They were not only fighting against a more significant force, but they were also battling for the survival of their nation. Their resistance was not just about military strategy, it was about heart, resilience, and a determination to defend their homeland at all costs. The Battle of Britain was not just a military confrontation, but a test of will, resilience, and national unity. It was a turning point in World War II that would determine the fate of the free world. The battle was about to begin, and the RAF was ready. The skies over Britain were about to witness some of the most intense aerial combat in history. In the summer of 1940, the responsibility of safeguarding Britain fell on the shoulders of the Royal Air Force. As the Battle of Britain raged on, the RAF stood as the only shield between the German Luftwaffe and the British homeland. It was a daunting task, for the Luftwaffe was a formidable foe, and the RAF was outnumbered. But the men and women of the RAF were undeterred. They were the defenders of the sky, and they would not falter. The RAF pilots, some scarcely out of their teens, displayed extraordinary bravery and dedication. They knew the stakes. They knew that every time they took to the skies, they might not return. Yet, they flew sortie after sortie, doggedly engaging the enemy in fierce aerial combat. Air superiority was the key to winning the battle. If the Luftwaffe could control the skies, they could bomb Britain into submission. The RAF's mission was clear: prevent that from happening at all costs. Their Spitfires and Hurricanes roared into the sky, ready to meet the enemy, but courage alone was not enough. The RAF needed to outthink their adversaries. They pioneered innovative tactics like the Finger 4 formation, which offered better visibility and flexibility than the traditional Vic formation. They also made use of radar technology, a relatively new invention at the time, to detect incoming enemy aircrafts and deploy their fighters effectively. The RAF was also aided by the ground crews who worked tirelessly to refuel, rearm, and repair the aircrafts. These unsung heroes ensured that the RAF pilots could keep flying, keep fighting, and keep defending their homeland. The RAF faced a daunting task. They were outnumbered, but they were not outmatched. They fought with courage, they fought with ingenuity, and they fought with an unwavering determination to defend their homeland. The RAF, outnumbered but undeterred, was Britain's first line of defense against the German onslaught. The German Luftwaffe at the time was the most formidable air force in the world. Picture this: an air force that had been meticulously developed, refined, and expanded in the years leading up to World War II. The Luftwaffe was a powerhouse, boasting advanced technology, strategic prowess, and seasoned pilots. The Luftwaffe's strength was evident in its diverse aircraft fleet. From the nimble Messerschmitt Bf 109 fighters to the formidable Heinkel He 111 bombers, these machines were designed for a singular purpose: to dominate the skies, and they were very good at their job. But the Luftwaffe wasn't just about brute force. The German Air Force was finely tuned for strategic warfare. They used a series of calculated attacks known as blitzkrieg, or lightning war. This approach relied on speed, surprise, and concentrated firepower to disorient and overwhelm the enemy. However, formidable as they were, the Luftwaffe was not invincible. Their tactics, so effective on the continental mainland, were less suited to the island nation of Britain. The English Channel served as a natural barrier. and the Luftwaffe's long-range bombers were not as effective without the support of their ground forces. Confronting this powerful adversary, the Royal Air Force faced immense challenges. The RAF was outnumbered and outgunned. They were up against an enemy with superior technology and more experienced pilots, but the RAF had something the Luftwaffe did not, a determination that was unyielding. The RAF pilots knew the stakes. They knew they were all that stood between their homeland and a German invasion. They were the last line of defense, and they were prepared to give everything to hold the line. Their spirit was encapsulated in Winston Churchill's famous words, "Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few." Facing the Luftwaffe was a daunting task, but the RAF was ready to defend their homeland to the last. They would face down the threat in the skies above Britain, in a conflict that would become known as the Battle of Britain. And the world would watch, holding its breath, as the fate of a nation hung in the balance. Despite the odds, the RAF started to turn the tide of the battle. The Battle of Britain was not a singular event but a series of intense engagements that stretched over several months. It was a time of relentless attacks, strategic maneuvers, and unexpected victories. The RAF, with their backs against the wall, began to implement successful counter-strategies that ultimately shifted the momentum in their favor. One of the most significant turning points during the Battle of Britain occurred when the Luftwaffe made a crucial strategic error. Instead of continuing their devastating attacks on RAF airfields and infrastructure, the German forces shifted their focus to bombing London and other major cities. This decision gave the RAF a much-needed respite, allowing them to repair damaged aircraft and airfields. In response, the RAF adopted a flexible defense strategy known as the Dowding system. Named after Air Chief Marshal Hugh Dowding, this system utilized radar technology and ground observations to detect incoming attacks. Fighter Command could then dispatch the appropriate response, ensuring that no resources were wasted on false alarms. This strategy allowed the RAF to maximize their resources and maintain a constant defensive presence in the skies. The Battle of Britain also saw the emergence of the Big Wing tactic, led by Air Vice Marshal Trafford Leigh-Mallory. This involved deploying large formations of fighters to engage enemy bombers, a strategy that, while controversial, proved to be a game-changer in several key engagements. As the weeks turned into months, the RAF's strategic defense and the Luftwaffe's tactical errors began to take their toll on the German forces. The Luftwaffe's loss rate started to exceed their replacement rate, and by the end of October, they had lost a total of nearly 1,700 aircraft compared to the RAF's loss of just over 1,000. The Battle of Britain was shifting, and the RAF was at the heart of this change. Their determination, innovative strategies, and sheer resilience were starting to pay off, marking the beginning of a turning point in the Second World War. The Battle of Britain ended, leaving behind a nation that had stood firm against a powerful enemy. As the echoes of the last dogfights faded into memory, a sense of relief washed over the British Isles. The Royal Air Force, the resilient defenders of the sky, had emerged victorious. Their success was not only a military triumph, it was a beacon of hope that lit up the darkness of those war-torn years. In the aftermath of the Battle of Britain, the nation found itself not only intact but invigorated. The victory had not merely been a reprieve from invasion, but a declaration of Britain's resolve. The Luftwaffe, a force that had seemed invincible, had been repelled. The RAF had not just defended their homeland, they had proven to the world that the German war machine could be defeated. This victory was a turning point in the Second World War. The German forces who had been sweeping across Europe with impunity had been halted. Britain, the last bastion of resistance in Western Europe, had shown that the Axis powers were not invincible. This was a beacon of hope to the other nations of the world, sowing the seeds of a broader resistance. But the Battle of Britain was more than a military event. It was a testament to the spirit of a nation under threat. Each air raid siren, each flash in the night sky was a reminder of the stakes. Yet, the British people endured. They stood strong, united in the face of adversity. The victory of the RAF was their victory too. It was a victory of courage over fear, of resilience over despair. The Battle of Britain was a testament to the courage of the RAF and the resilience of the British people. It was a moment that defined a nation. A moment when the people of Britain looked to the skies and saw not just planes, but the embodiment of their own indomitable spirit. As the smoke cleared and the sun rose, Britain stood, not merely a nation but a symbol of resistance, of courage, and of hope. The Battle of Britain left an enduring legacy, not just in the annals of military history, but in the hearts and minds of the British people. It was a time when ordinary men did extraordinary things, when the Royal Air Force stood up against the might of the German Luftwaffe and defended the skies of Britain. The legacy of the RAF is one of resilience, courage, and innovation. It was the first time in history that a battle was fought and won entirely in the air. The innovative tactics employed by the RAF, their strategic use of radar technology, and the indomitable spirit of the pilots have become legendary. The Battle of Britain is commemorated every year on the 15th of September, known as Battle of Britain Day. It's a time to remember the bravery of the RAF pilots, the sacrifices they made, and the pivotal role they played in shaping the course of World War II. It's a testament to the enduring legacy of the RAF that even today, more than 80 years after the battle, the phrase "the few" still resonates, referring to Winston Churchill's famous tribute to the pilots who fought in the battle. But the legacy of the RAF extends beyond the Battle of Britain. It's woven into the fabric of Britain's national identity. The RAF has become a symbol of Britain's resilience in the face of adversity, a testament to the nation's ability to stand up against seemingly insurmountable odds. It's a legacy that continues to inspire, a legacy of courage, innovation, and determination. The Battle of Britain and the role of the RAF during World War II reminds us of the courage and sacrifice that is required when a nation's freedom is at stake. It's a reminder of the price of freedom and the enduring spirit of those who are willing to defend it. The Battle of Britain was a pivotal moment in World War II, a battle that changed the course of history. This was more than a conflict between nations. It was a clash of ideologies, a test of resilience, and a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. At the heart of this monumental battle was the Royal Air Force, the RAF, the defenders of the British skies. These were not just pilots, they were heroes. They were tasked not only to guard the heavens, but also the hopes and dreams of a nation on the brink. The Battle of Britain was a David and Goliath story played out in the skies. The RAF, outnumbered and outgunned, was up against the might of the German Luftwaffe, the most powerful air force of the time. But the RAF pilots, with their Spitfires and Hurricanes, faced the challenge with a courage that was nothing short of extraordinary. They flew sortie after sortie, day after day, risking their lives for the freedom of their homeland. They were the thin line of defense against a ruthless enemy, the embodiment of Winston Churchill's words, "Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few." The Battle of Britain was not just a military conflict. It was a battle for survival. The stakes were high. If Britain fell, the entire free world was in jeopardy. But the RAF pilots fought with a resolve that was unyielding. They were the guardians of liberty, the protectors of their homeland, and their bravery turned the tide of the war. The RAF's innovative tactics and strategic brilliance played a crucial role in the outcome of the battle. They pioneered the use of radar technology, which gave them a critical advantage in the war. The RAF's strategy of lean into the punch, of meeting the enemy head-on, of taking the fight to the skies, was a game-changer. The legacy of the Battle of Britain and the RAF's role in it is far-reaching. It marked a turning point in World War II, a moment when the tide of war shifted and hope was rekindled. The RAF's victory boosted the morale of the entire nation and inspired resistance movements across Europe. The Battle of Britain is a testament to the human spirit, to the power of resilience, to the courage of ordinary men and women who rose to extraordinary heights in the face of adversity. It is a story that resonates even today, a story that serves as a beacon of hope and a reminder of the cost of freedom. The Battle of Britain and the RAF's role in it is a story of courage, resilience, and determination that continues to inspire us today. Because in the end, it is not the battles that define us, but how we fight them and how we rise, against all odds, to protect what we hold dear.